Today's story will bring you to a rural county in Texas. It's called Kinney County. This county shares only 16 miles of the international border with Mexico, but it sits between Del Rio and the Eagle Pass, the two major illegal border crossing areas in Texas. So this county has become a major thoroughfare for illegal immigrants trying to avoid law enforcement. The residents, mostly the ranchers in this county, have been going through the threats from the illegal crossers. The Kinney County Sheriff has 6 full-time deputies. They try to cover the total over 1,300 square miles. And it's just an insurmountable ratio. The Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS, has had an impact catching smugglers on the roads and illegal aliens on ranches, but still they are outnumbered. So here comes Samuel Hall, who is the founder and the president of a militia group, Patriots for America. He got a call to help and decided to take the action to help the ranchers in Kinney County. I did an interview with him last week to learn all about that. So without further ado, let's dive in. So first of all, I just asked Samuel, why did you come to that, the Kinney County to support and help?
PFA, Patriots for America Militia, we're here to defend this county. The National Guard was sent to Maverick County. They were sent to Uvalde County. Kinney County was left out. They have no protection here. Zero. They have the DPS. The ground units are doing as much job as they can, but the county only has a certain amount of beds. And so the cartel knows this, and they're exploiting the border here in Kinney County. And so what they're doing is they're pouring through Kinney because they know that there's no National Guard presence. And so they're exploiting the porous border here. So we decided, Kinney County needed the most help. I talked to Sheriff Coe. I've spoken with the judge, the county attorney. I've had multiple conversations with the sheriff, and this town needs help bad. These residents are scared to death. And so, PFA, being a Texas militia, what we're most well known for is our mission to rescue children from sex trafficking. But this county needed help, and PFA answered the call.
So how bad is the situation in that border county?
All these border counties are very important, but they're all being exploited. There's danger on all of it, right? Cartel is very powerful. They're very well funded, much like a military. And they don't have a soul. So they're doing terrible things. We were in an area yesterday. It was right on the river. Literally right across the street is Mexico. And over the hills, cartel was watching us in their armored vehicles. We could see them watching us through their binoculars. We were watching them as well. You have just a quagmire of, a lot of moving parts. You have the cartel, you have DPS. The county doesn't have enough room to take anybody in. Uvalde County won't take anybody. So they don't have the infrastructure to support this kind of operation. That's why we made history in this county. I made a speech at the commissioner's court with the judge and the commissioners. And for the first time, we were told in over 100 years, I haven't fact checked that, 157 years, that's what we were told, that a sheriff has deputized militia to go ahead and help defend this county and this state. If something's not done, I'm telling you, especially with this Haitian caravan coming, it's just a matter of time. I don't feel like it's an if, but a when situation that this explodes. And PFA just has to make sure that we are not the cause of that. But we are going to be here to protect the citizens when it happens.
So how are the reactions from the residents, the rangers over there, to the militia coming to help?
We have a lot of support from residents. We have a lot of support from Patriots, Texans. My brothers and sisters that are back home, they're rallying, they're raising funds, they're raising supplies. We have a tremendous network of people that, especially when this started getting national attention, again, Patriots. I mean, these are salt of the earth people. These are not the people that the left will tell you and demonize us and try to make us look like supremacists or right-wing whatever. These are people that will bend over backwards for you and not even know you. These are people that, as I speak right now, we have a man that has opened up his home, given us the keys to his car, whatever we've needed. And he didn't know us for 3 days, for 3 days when we first got here, but he knew we needed help. I cannot tell you how Patriots take care of Patriots and how Texans take care of Texans. I don't know how they do it in California. Texans is a different culture. Texans take care of Texas. We love our state, and we know that this state is the bedrock of this whole country. And if we lose Texas, we're not going to have a nation. We're not going to have America. Our kids aren't going to grow up in the same nation, in the same America that we grew up in. This is a history-making event, and we know God is with us. We know the angels are on our side, and we appreciate everybody's prayers that have been praying for us and helping us.
So, as Samuel mentioned, and according to the record, the county has only just 6 full-time deputies to cover over 1,300 square miles. So, is that the county always kind of short of manpower to deter the inflow of the illegal immigrants, or it's just happened recently?
Well, they've always had a flow of immigrants coming in over the border. But this administration in Washington, this administration is exacerbating that issue times a million, right? And so under President Trump, we had a very secure border, but we had a lot of support from the federal government to do so. Under this Biden administration, it's about as bad as it gets. They're not just coming in by, the thousands. Now we have an 80,000 or up to 80,000 Haitians coming. They're supposed to be here. The ETA we're looking at about 2 weeks. They got held up in Panama. But the rhetoric is what's concerning. They're talking about if they don't get let into the United States, then it's going to be a war. Well, the residents in this county and other neighboring counties as well, I'm sure they're not just going to come through one place. They're probably going to spread it out, if I had to guess. Everybody's pretty nervous about that rhetoric. And so everybody's preparing. We don't know what it's going to look like or exactly where they're going to hit, but we're going to be prepared to protect this county and these citizens. This is Texas. God is moving. We're acting in faith. We stepped out in faith to come down here. PFA was the first militia down here. And let me tell you, the citizens of this county are overwhelmingly grateful that they finally have help. They finally have help because they do desperately need it. And they're bending over backwards to support us, to give us what we need, housing, food, supplies, you name it.
So have Sam ever thought about that militia would take an important role in the border crisis?
The militia shouldn't take an important role in the border situation right now. The government should take an important role and protect the citizens of this state. However, when the government abandons you and says that you're not worth it because you don't have enough value in an election to help us out, and they send National Guard everywhere but Kinney County, that's the only thing to do in Texas. I don't know about other states, not sure how it works. I'm sure it's very similar. But at some point, militia is going to stand up and have to stand in the gap for these people. They're going to have to stand in the gap and protect our own because the government's not doing it. The government's not doing it. There's no help here. There's no help. There's not National Guard. We have very little DPS that's actually able to do something. The county government in this county, they have 6 deputies to cover 1,357 acres in this county. And so they don't have the manpower, support, or infrastructure to combat this problem. And it's a huge problem, and the cartel is exploiting it exponentially. And so it's really, until you get down here and see it, it's something that's hard to put into words. The people of this county are scared. The other, I guess it was probably Sunday. We hadn't had a shower in about 4 days. We were sleeping on cots. But the residents, being just the gracious, salt of the earth people that they are here, really, truly. Lady opened up her home so we could take a shower. And I know that sounds like a simple thing, but when you haven't had a shower in 4 days, it sure means a lot. But she left as we were leaving, and we were asking her, while she was leaving her home, she said that she's too scared. She can't stay in her own home alone. And this is our own home. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. We're making a difference for these people so they can live a normal life, or at least a semblance of a normal life. They haven't had any protection or help, and by God, we're going to give it to them.
So what exactly you and your group is doing over there to protect them?
Yeah, good question. So we're working with the sheriff's department. Now, here's the deal. As a militia, there's a lot of, this is such a high intensity political climate here. It takes one person making one mistake and the whole thing blows up. A lot of ranchers are worried. A lot of elected officials are worried. And so, you think about militia, you think about guys with guns and, running around being vigilantes. Well, that's not PFA. PFA is a very professional organization. PFA does it right. We don't beat our chest. We're not here to hurt anybody. We're not here to cause any problems. We don't want to get hurt either. What we're here to do is help this county and be a deterrent on the border, so when people are crossing and they can see us, or we can see them, maybe they'll change their minds. And if they still decide to come across, well, we can disrupt and frustrate until the county can get there, and then the county can make the arrest. If they have guns or drugs, we can call DPS. Other than that, if they don't have drugs, DPS can be of no help. They will not take them. If the county takes them and there's not enough beds, it's what they call catch and release. It's all they can do. It's what this Biden administration has engineered to weaken this state. And so they're given money, they're given a bus ticket, and welcome to America. And that's the way it is right now. It is a big, big problem. If I could issue a call, we need the right quality men that can come down here, spend a week, 2 weeks, rotate out, and come back. The sheriff said that this is going to be about a 3-year mission. 3 years. You might ask yourself, well, why 3 years, Sam? Well, because that's about how long Biden's got left in office before he can hopefully vote his communist butt out. And yes, I said communist, and I believe that. And so, 3 years, we got to put up with this, or as long as this administration is in office. And so, we're gonna be here. We're gonna put one foot in front of the other, and we're gonna let God be God, and we're gonna have faith that He's gonna provide.
So Samuel mentioned communist. So how do you view the communist impact on this country?
Look at what's going on. The Nuremberg Code, the Nuremberg trials, laws, whatever you want to call it, are out the door. They're shredding our Constitution right in front of our face. They're trying to take away, and already have taken away, First Amendment rights, censoring. You can't even tell the truth if it doesn't fit the left narrative. You get blocked, banned, censored, accounts taken down. People like Pastor Greg Locke, a patriot, a pastor, a man that stood up against tyranny, is now on Nancy Pelosi's #1 hit list for the January 6th. Riots, right? Oh, the left. They love to just... they love that narrative, don't they? And this man has done nothing wrong. I've shared the stage with Pastor Greg Locke at speaking events around the state. He's a godly man. He's a patriot. Then the vaccine. You got people losing their jobs, livelihoods, being told they're going to be fired if they don't get a shot. That smells like communism. That's not a free America. If you get the vaccine, then that's your choice. I personally am highly against it. But the fact that they're forcing it, that people are losing their jobs, that companies of over 100 employees are being forced to vaccinate or their employees, or then they get fired. They get fired. These people have been employed, a lot of them, for 20, 25 years. They're close to retirement. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to take the jab? Are they going to lose their lives and their livelihood? That's not choice. That's not freedom. So when I talk about this administration being communistic, these are some examples, just a few.
So why did Samuel decide to step up and speak out?
Thomas Paine said this: "If there is going to be trouble, let it be in my time, so my children may have peace." We have an obligation to our future generations, an obligation. We were raised in an America that's quickly being eroded. Hyperinflation, people losing jobs over vaccines, our borders wide open, we're being invaded. And that's less than a year. Can you imagine what's coming? If we don't stand up for our future generations, we're not going to have an America. Our children will not have an America. Our forefathers who died and gave their lives for this country would be rolling over in their grave if we did not do something to save this nation. And it starts with Texas. You say fear. I tell my men this, courage isn't acting in the absence of fear. It's acting in the face of fear. People get scared. If you weren't scared in this situation down here, let me tell you, there's something wrong with you. Because it does get scary. We've been on the border, multiple ops every single day, been in very dangerous situations. Face to face with cartel. That's scary. But our children are worth it. Our state is worth it, and our country's worth it. And there's too many people that died and gave their lives for this nation for us to sit back and do nothing. So we will look fear in the face and say we live in faith, not fear. We're going to keep putting one step in front of the other, and we're going to do what God called us to do down here in Kinney County. And that's it.